hair.
You do your thing. We're just happy you're here. So welcome everyone. We're happy that everyone who's joining us is here. Happy Thursday/Friday, because we have our lovely friend all the way from Australia, Kaylee, joining us.
Yay!
Hello.
But I hope everyone's doing well. This week is, surprise, another no ballad news week. So, I mean, we kind of were talking before the call started, and we were talking about our reaping day. So, July 4th is the reaping day. So, I mean, that's kind of Hunger Games related. I like how like my feed was half Happy 4th of July, America, and then half Happy Reaping Day. And yeah.
I feel like I only saw Hunger Games stuff. It's just reaping day.
I mean, with some recent, not to get too political, Supreme Court decisions, I didn't really feel very celebratory towards 4th of July this year.
No, same.
But reaping day, I always thought that was kind of interesting that like when I read ballad for the first time, when that line like, oh, but what else could you expect for July 4th? I was like, oh, of course. Like it just like immediately connected in my head. I was like, okay, that tracks.
It like confirmed a headcanon for me, which was really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so pumped to read that.
I was like, Suzanne Collins gets it. She's in my head and she knows everything.
Yeah, I remember being really excited when I first read that for the first time. I went to like a bookstore. I went to Barnes and Noble on the 4th because that's how I celebrate my day off. And there, like, I go to my local Barnes and Noble has a Hunger Games table set out, which we can critique. Like, I sent it in the group chat, posted about it on our story, and the books on there. I mean, I would put some different choices, but hey, like a Hunger Games table is still really cool. But when I walked in, they just had so many copies of Ballad, like literally like 30 copies of Ballad. And I was just going through them all. I was like, where does it say July 4th? I need to find it. Like, that's how I celebrated.
Well, there was that one, I don't know which TV channel had that like Celebrate America. Like AMC. I'm sure you all saw that post. What one was it?
AMC. It was so AMC.
Yeah.
Oh, like they either knew what they were doing or they didn't. Like
they did not.
It was so funny with the stars on it. My brain just immediately went to that scene that in Mockingjay Part 2 where Coin puts up the like martyr tribute to Katniss. It looks just like that.
Wait, so what happened? I'm not familiar with what happened with AMC.
It was definitely a disgruntled employee. That's all
I think so. There was I guess a TV channel that was having a Hunger Games marathon.
That scene that in Mockingjay Part 2 where Coin puts up the like martyr tribute.
We shall remember. Yeah.
It was just like that.
Wait, so
it was like something about like Great American AMC thing, and it had a picture of Katniss.
Wait, somebody find the picture. Send it in the chat.
Yeah, because
look on our Twitter. It's on there.
Let me go see. Speaking of which, Twitter. Hello, goodbye. We have Threads now, which I'm kind of obsessed with. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it's really cool that there's a platform that like I've gotten so many notifications just because like it can transfer all your information over from Instagram, which I really like.
It's like, it's super convenient.
Kaylee, I'm so sorry that all of your suggested posts are gay men because of me.
Oh, that's funny.
Just scantily clad gay men. my mutuals on there.
But yeah, it'll be good when they add more features and stuff, like the hashtags and such, so everything is a bit
I just need to be able to switch accounts. Like, that's what I need. And I keep going back to Instagram, and then it's on a different Instagram than I'm on Threads. And I'm like confused.
Yeah, they need the little drop-down menu.
I think that they're gonna get their stuff together. I mean, it's
Yeah.
new.
Yeah,
I
there was a
Everyone, for the most part, is
post.
pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's very good. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like a grandma when it comes to technology. I'm trying to make a Threads account for us. But like you said, like I don't know how to differentiate like accounts.
You have to log out and then press switch accounts.
Oh,
Wait,
Oh,
I'll do it for
yeah.
us right now, Holly.
queen. Queen. So follow us on Threads.
I looked for the tribute talk thread today and I couldn't find it. I was like, wait, have y'all not made that yet?
I literally was at work just sitting there trying to figure it out for like 15 minutes.
No, but see, Holly and I talked about this and we were going to delete our Twitter because we weren't using it. But then I started using it for the read along. So I'm like, do we really want to Threads? Because we don't even hardly use Twitter. But I'll
I
make
don't
one.
I don't use Twitter in general, but I feel like I've used Threads a lot more already. Like I got a Twitter like a few weeks ago.
Listen, let me be like the violin player when the Titanic is sinking. Let me do your Twitter.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, Ronnie, you can have it.
Please, you can have it.
I
It's
will
all
gladly.
yours.
I would
iconic.
like to understand how it is that Twitter has come to the brink of death like 6 times in the last year and it's still around. I swear, it's like a cockroach. It just won't die.
It's
And
I
I-
just because of the longevity of it. Like it's been around for like a decade and some at this point. And
It's
I
like
think
when
that
it was
people are very
created-
stubborn.
Social media platform, and I just want it to be done with already.
Well, I remember
Yeah, I
like
guess also
back in the day, like when my mom got a Twitter back in like 2007. Jesus Christ, that was so long ago. I was like, oh, Twitter's for old people. And I didn't think anything of it. And like my mom would go to like Twitter hangouts with like people that she hadn't met in real life and
Oh
on
my
Twitter. And I thought that was so weird. I was like, oh, there's no way
Yes.
that's
Wow.
me.
Flashback.
And then here we are.
Fast forward.
I've met a lot of you guys now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, because of like Twitter and like at least social media in general. But Twitter was the OG, like because that back then they just had really MySpace and Facebook had just started.
It reminds me of that meme that's like, yeah, we were raised to like not get into like a stranger's car, and like now we're out here with like Uber and Lyft just getting
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like don't talk to strangers online, and it's like that's exactly exclusively.
That's all
what
I do.
No, literally. Like me explaining to my parents, like when we went to Vegas, I was like, there is a strong possibility that this is a scam. And like
Also-
Emily knows that I am like a huge, like my parents raised me to be like very paranoid. Like whenever we get like an email from anyone, I send it to Emily and I'm like, is this legit? Like my parents don't think this is real. And so when I told my parents I was going to Vegas, they were like, oh my God, that's so cool. I was like, okay, I guess I can trust them because my parents trust them.
Like, not to alarm anyone, it's fine because it's already happened. But like, I don't know if any of you used the restrooms at McCarran Airport in Las Vegas, but there's a lot of like
Oh.
anti-trafficking phone
Yes.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Vegas is a really big hotspot for that. It's not funny, but
yeah, I saw those on the stars.
Yeah.
And also like anti-gambling stuff where it's like, do you need help?
yeah.
Wow. I didn't
just
see
like,
that
oh.
one.
There were quite a few, at least like I think the men's stalls were kind of coded a little bit differently because I think sex trafficking happens more towards women, unfortunately, than it does for men. So like I guess the men's targeted
Yeah.
ads are just like, don't have a gambling addiction. Like
Two different things, but you know.
I've always like, okay, the trafficking one I'm inclined to believe would actually make a difference, but like the gambling issue one, I'm like, who, and maybe I'm just really ignorant, but I want to know, like, has anyone ever been like, I'm peeing at the airport and this is when I've realized
that
I
I don't-
mean, I feel like I do my
The
best
bathroom
thinking in
is-
the bathroom, so
Oh.
maybe.
you leave the bathroom and then like there's immediately a slot machine right there. I mean, it's
no, that's the thing. It's like, it's also like the worst place. It's like, I mean, I get it, right? Like but it's not even like there's no slot machines at the airport, right? So you'd be like, oh, you just spent a weekend in Vegas, maybe things got too crazy and you're at the airport going back to your life and things are sinking in. But you might have that realization, and then you go out and you're like, let me just play a quick little game before I go. You know what I mean? It's like, how is that helping? It
At
just
that
feels
point, you've
a
made up
little
your mind.
counterintuitive. Yeah,
So
It's
back to
fine.
Ballad.
I know.
And like this isn't news, but this weekend in Denver, I went to Fan Expo Denver and I found
Yes,
Ballad stuff.
that
I
merch
was
looks so
shocked.
cool.
I was
Mhm.
like, I mean, I know it's not like official merchandise, but I was like,
Still mer-
I'm always like on the lookout for Hunger Games stuff, like no matter what, like at any convention. And like I saw these it was like this booth that had earrings, and I saw Mockingjay earrings, and then all of a sudden I looked above and I was like, wait, that's a Mockingjay from the Ballad cover. And I was like, oh my God. And then Max and I blacked out, but like Max went and he picked out like he was like, oh my God, they have a keychain. Oh my God, they have pins. I was like, oh my God. And I was telling the vendor when I was checking out, I spent like $200 the first time I went back the first time. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I've been looking everywhere for Ballad merch. Like, you don't understand the market that this is. Like, people will buy this stuff from you. And he was just like, yeah,
Market.
okay. Like, it wanted nothing to do with me because I was literally shaking.
Oh my gosh. What was so exciting about that was just the fact that you went last year too, and we're looking for Ballad merch or Hunger Games merch, and we're hardly able to find anything. So going this year and that like growing is just really cool.
And I think
Yeah, I
it was,
went to
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I went to a con like a couple of months ago, and I was looking the whole time for anything, like even the Hunger Games related, but there was almost nothing. It was really disappointing.
It's always sad. It has to be like I've been to like big cons and I've been to like small local ones, and it always ends up being like, from what I've noticed, is either poster collect, like people who collect posters or sell posters have posters, or it's like only people who make merchandise off of books and not movies. Because like this jewelry stand was only making stuff based off of books. So I don't even know if they knew there was a movie, to be honest with you.
Probably not.
And
I feel
then
like
They did.
I feel like there's a lot of people who just people who sell at conventions a lot. They'll just kind of do like some quick like pop culture setting, being like, oh, what are the releases this year? Like what
Yeah.
and then they just kind of make stuff. Because like last year when I went to the first DunderCon, for any Office fans here, there was like a guy who was selling Hellfire Club shirts. Tell me, what does that have
What?
to do with The Office? Yeah, but it was like, you know, Stranger Things season 4 had just come out, and the Hot Topic, like the official Hellfire Club shirt, was sold out like everywhere. So of course, like the minute you have any type of fan convention, you're gonna have someone
yeah.
selling Hellfire Club shirts, because that's what makes money. And it was funny because his sign said like, I am charging way more money than I should be for these, but y'all will still buy it. He was like, he had like 2 shirts left at his booth. So it was like, you know, like he's just after money, you know, and I get it. Like that's how he makes his living. Cool, you know. So I guess with this it probably was something similar.
It was also cool because right after that, I found my like 2 favorite finds. So like I want to share this on like our stories, but I found this person who makes custom purses out of vinyl records.
What?
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, like there's shows, blah, blah, blah. Like it was a really small stand. And I always ask, no matter what stand, or Max does it because I get too shy. He'll be like, do you have any Hunger Games stuff? And she's like, I do. And I spent too much money on this, but it's one of a kind. It's made out of the vinyl record, which I was a little mad because I'm like, why did you destroy it? But at the same time, I'm like, it's beautiful, so give it to me now. So I bought that bag. I'll post a picture of it later, but that was really cool. And then what I did was, because it's clearly like in your face Hunger Games, I like wore it so like everyone would see like I'm here for Hunger Games. And
For this-
so right towards the end of the evening when we were about to leave, I was kind of looking at some vendors on my own, and I found this stand that was selling custom like tumbler mugs. And last year I'd visited them and asked if they had Twilight or Hunger Games ones, and they said, no, we don't, but that's a good idea. And I was just kind of like browsing for 2 seconds, and the woman behind the counter goes, I have a Hunger Games one. And I literally, it was the fastest transaction of my life. I go, take my money. Like I literally just handed her my credit card, and she's like, do you want to look at it? I was like, no, I want it. Like, and I've been using it at work all week, and it's made out of pages from the book, which is really
What?
cool. Yes. So I'll post pictures of them, but like really cool finds. And I'll try and post the information. So if people want to order from them, they do like custom orders. I'm sure that they would love to do like more Hunger Games ones, but
Wait, Holly, which the purse made out of records, which album is it? Is it from the first or the second one?
the first one.
Oh my
Moms
god.
from District 12 and beyond. Dun dun dun.
I have that record. I want to see that as a purse though. That sounds really cute.
Really
I
cool.
love that. I want to take that purse to the premiere.
I'm just
That's
like
what I said. I was like, Holly, if you don't wear this thing, I'm
I
gonna come
think
and
for
jump
me,
at you.
it's like I had to get it because it's like people are just so creative. Like going to conventions that big, like who would have thought to make a purse out of a vinyl record? Like I don't understand that at all. Like I think it's so cool how creative people can be and expressing like fandom and fan creation. And so I'm like, even if it just sits on my shelf most of the time, I'm like, I was really happy I did find the most amount of Hunger Games stuff I have in years. So maybe we will get to see more merch, like official merch soon, which I'm hopeful for.
Let's hope so. Gosh, we're starving. We're starving.
We are.
Lauren commented that she really wants that Academy pin. That would have been like, obviously, like you said, AJ, people are just kind of like looking to see what movies and releases are coming
Yeah.
out this year. So they're not going to actually know, but like an Academy pin would have been so cool.
I feel like
That-
there's chances for that happening like after the movie's out. You know what I mean? Like next year when you go to Fan Expo Denver, they'll probably be that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like that's gonna be like the new like my theory is I think that's gonna be the new Mockingjay pin. Like I mean I think they'll do like the logo pin, but I also think that they're gonna do the Academy pin.
Yeah, I'm like, there's got to be a real one, right? An
Yeah,
official one.
Faith, not to be dramatic, but I am losing faith in like movie merch.
Yeah, but we're
because-
getting a
Yeah.
calendar. We're getting a calendar. So that's the
all that
kickoff,
matters.
right?
They can
I'm
do a
desperate.
calendar, they can do a
right, we're
pin.
getting a calendar and the pin is nowhere to be found. That's what I'm like twitching my eye at right now.
No
I'm like,
way.
Dude, they're leaving it really late.
and I'm
It's like,
the optimist here. I'm the perpetual optimist, and I'm starting to feel a little nervous. That's all I'm gonna say.
for the
Haley,
first movie they had.
what are
yeah?
your thoughts on Ballad and like Comic-Con and them not being at Comic-Con? Because we talked about that a little bit last week. So I would love to hear like your thoughts and AJ's thoughts on,
You know,
Yeah.
on that.
I mean, obviously it's devastating, especially for us, but just like, yeah, it's really sad because I think a lot of us were looking forward to just like that stage of, like the marketing begins, the character posters are at Comic-Con and the cast does a panel. That was like a really memorable point of like Mockingjay Part 2 marketing for me. So not having that for Ballad will be really sad, but I think AJ mentioned before that maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a chance for something at New York Comic Con. We can hope.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
yeah, I was thinking about that because I mean it wouldn't really make much sense, I guess, but like New York Comic Con happens in the fall. Like, doesn't it happen in like October or something?
Yeah.
I went there once in
Yeah.
2013 and it was really overwhelming, so I don't really remember my but yeah, I mean, so by then maybe the writer's strikes will have, either calmed down or they'll have come to some sort of solution. or
Let's hope
something.
so.
And maybe like, maybe this year it's just kind of backwards. Like instead of it being San Diego Comic-Con being the big one, maybe this year New York Comic-Con will be the larger event because of the way the timelines might link up. I don't know. I really am just grasping at straws at this point.
But I didn't even think about New York Comic Con, which honestly, AJ, it'd be free for them to send us to it because we live in New York.
Literally. Yeah, so I don't know, going back to me being the forever optimist who just a minute ago was super cynical about merch is like, wait, like I don't know about merch, but maybe New York Comic Con ? I know that New York Comic Con is a little bit different in vibe. I don't really know what the exact differences are. I think just that San Diego Comic Con is just like the bigger, more main event, right? But I mean, yeah. Who
These other
knows?
things aren't coming to San Diego. I could see New York Comic Con being like the one, since it's a lot later, like being the one that they actually like do stuff at, like present news and all of that.
Because I
All
mean,
I know,
oh, go ahead.
it's okay.
I'm just gonna be repeating myself. Just go for it.
I was just gonna say, all I know New York Comic Con for is when they unveiled the cover for Ballad in 2019. Wait, 2019.
Yeah.
So it has that Ballad connection for me. So
That's true.
Aw.
And like if they don't even want to like, if they just pay for y'all's flight and not stay, you have AJ and I will gladly host people at my apartment.
Oh yeah. We
And
can
you
all
know-
snuggle.
We'll
God.
cram in.
Ronnie, Emily have seen my apartment and it's tiny, but if we get like a couple inflatable mattresses in the living room and the couch, we'll figure it out.
It'll be fun.
You know what?
make it work.
To really live up to my reputation of constantly making Hunger Games references, it's not over till the Mockingjay sings. All right.
Oh my God.
You're
I
welcome.
think about you all the time. Every single time you make a reference, like even this evening when you were like, I don't know what
Oh,
the turkey
computer
line.
version.
I was like,
How rude of it.
AJ, you just have the crown for this. Like you earned
Listen,
your title.
let me
wanted to-
explain something, because I'm literally, as we're talking right now, I'm making some nonverbal communication cards for myself, and so it feels on topic as well. This is the thing about being neurodivergent, being autistic, and constantly having sound bites to every piece of media I've ever consumed, just in a Rolodex, locked and loaded, ready to go. And
I
it's
love
how
it.
I relate to my life and like my surroundings and the people around me and stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've replied to somebody, but I'm actually quoting something, but it's how I feel actually, but it's like the only way it comes out naturally. Otherwise it's like really confusing. Anyway,
That's
so
amazing.
I don't know if
Icon.
it's like really like it's kind of like a I don't know how to explain. It's like a useless superpower. It's just kind of like
Stop.
it's like an ability that I have that's not really constructive to anything other than it's amusing to me, I guess. But like, and to Holly, maybe it sounds like.
Well, I try to flip that because like anytime I get like hurt at work, like because I'm a barista, anytime I get like burned or something like that, I just like go ow, and like when I say ow, I think of Katniss in Mockingjay Part 2 when she's after RIP when Finnick passes away, and they like the peacekeepers are gunning them down or whatever, like in the train station, and a piece of shrapnel hits her and she goes ow, and like I just think that in my head.
Aw.
Okay, but the same thing, or the same idea, but like anytime I'm like sunburnt or something like that, and I'm putting on whatever lotion,
Yes, I know.
I always
Yes.
say like a silent thank you to Hamish for sending the medicine, and I'm up in the tree mentally, and I just go thank you every time.
Oh my god.
I could not do it. Okay? So much of my life is that, to the point where it's almost like a compulsion, in the sense where like if I don't do it, I have to go back and do it. Like it's just, yeah. I don't know where
I'm
I'm
like,
going.
you're
You-
saying it's a useless superpower, and I'm like, I would consider it like a party trick or something. Like, on the spot, you can just make a reference and everyone will love it. A Hunger Games reference.
Yeah, but the thing is about that, see, it's a double-edged sword because around you guys are definitely going to understand the references no matter how niche they are. But if I go to your Ashley Bob Joe out there, they're not going to know what thank you is, okay? Like, they're just going to be like, why are you whispering? You know?
They're uncultured, so
Right.
also,
and I'm trying to talk to most people, but
Each day that I talk to you, the more that I'm just like, I should probably get tested. Because when I made that reference, I made that reference, but I didn't like intentionally, because I was like, oh, that's a little bit too on the nose. When I was like, how rude of them in the group chat, and I was like, no, I don't know, I don't want to be too on the nose here. And then when you were like, oh, catching fire, I was like, oh my god, yes. Okay, good. I'm glad that somebody gets that.
oh, 100%.
our brains are just made of Hunger Games. So
No, it's ridiculous.
that's all the data that it has.
That's all I can take up in my head, honestly. Like, even though that like we're in a dry spell right now, it's still what takes up all of my head. I had like a coworker today. He came up to me and he was like, "Oh, look, you know that new Hunger Games movie that you're so excited about?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for it finally." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And he just like unleashed a can of worms in me. I just like started going off. I was like, "What do you think? What do you think? Like, is it does it look good?" He was like, "Yeah, it looks good." And I was like, "Okay, but what do you think about it?" He was like, "Yeah, it just looks good." And I'm like, "Okay, but what do you think about it?" And he's like, it looks good. I don't know, like it looks really good." And I was like,
I
"Talk
don't
to me."
understand people that move through life without special interests or hyperfixations. Like, what's it like being a casual
Literally.
lawyer about something? Like,
Literally.
it becomes my life. I don't just like
100%.
something. If I don't like something, I just ignore it as much as I can. Like, I have to bring it up. Silo, okay? Like,
I was waiting. I was waiting.
I know. You guys know this.
Everybody
stuff.
watch it. It's great.
I watched the first episode. It's
Yeah,
so
I've been thinking about watching it.
Please watch it. Please, just for anyone listening, let me get on my soapbox for a minute. I made a post about this today, literally, and I'm making a Jules comfort card, whatever, for myself as we speak right now. It's fantastic, and it's really helping to fill the void of no ballad news, and also just, I don't know, if you're a fan of Lost or shows that are kind of like in that sci-fi adjacent whatever dystopia genre, it's actually really amazing. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I saw a couple ads for it on YouTube like last month or something, and I was like, oh, I should probably check that out. That seems cool. And then of course I looked it up on Does the Dog Die, because that's what I do now. It's what I have to do. Shout out to all my PTSD baddies out there.
great website.
And yeah, and that's probably something else that I'm really excited about it also, is that it's so common nowadays for TV shows to just have like really gratuitous graphic violence and other themes that I find really disturbing. And it's just like really hard to find new shows and new movies that don't do that. And so I am in this position of having to look everything up all the time because I just don't want to deal with the stress of that. And Silo is so good. I was really nervous that at some point they were just gonna like pull the rug out from underneath me in that regard. But it's honestly really good. And I mean, anyone should definitely, still look it up if you do have like really specific triggers. But I was so genuinely impressed. And Emily, you can either agree, I think, or disagree, but I think you'll agree that it's like, it shows you what you need to know without it being traumatizing. What a concept.
Oh yeah, it's so refreshing. I agree with that too.
Yeah. So everyone go watch Silo. It's really awesome. I'd like to think it's like what District 13 was up to when the rest of Pan Am was, Pan-Amming. Or like an AU or something. But even if it doesn't, like, if just completely on its own, it's just really awesome as well. And
Where can you find it?
It's on Apple TV. It's an Apple TV original. And honestly, they've been crushing it recently, which is kind of amazing. They've kind of come out of nowhere. I feel like they had like Severance and Ted Lasso and Silo now. Silo's their number one original, I think, with the finale coming out on last Friday. And they're already filming season 2. And I watched like an hour-long interview with the author of the series, because it is a trilogy, a book trilogy originally.
Hey.
And he said that, without like wanting to speak too soon or whatever, but he was like, they really understand the vision at like over at Apple, and he feels really confident that we'll get the entire adaptation. So that's also really encouraging.
And if you guys like don't have Apple TV Plus or like aren't convinced enough, they have the entire first episode on Twitter,
Mhm.
on Apple TV Twitter, and that's where I watched it, and it's so good. Like y'all convinced me to watch it, and like I'm
It's a
obsessed.
really good first episode too.
It's
Even if
such
you
a
just
good
watch
first
that.
It's
it's
very it is Mockingjay adjacent. I mean, it's great.
It's
Just
literally District 13 plus City of Ember for adults, which
Yeah.
you know I enjoyed because I love both those things. So
And Tim Robbins is in both, isn't he?
yeah, he has this voiceover part
Okay.
in it that's in the trailer, and then there's a voiceover part at the beginning of City of Ember as well. So it was a little bit jarring, but yeah, it's so funny that he's in both.
Marilyn said that AJ has convinced me I'm starting Silo tonight.
Yes. This
Yeah.
is great.
One person. You
great
convinced
agenda.
one person.
It's
I'm
so
so-
good. Please watch
I have
it.
no idea how happy that makes me. Thank you. Literally, this started because my therapist was like, AJ, you need to watch this. I can't believe you haven't seen this yet. And she knows me too well. And she's like,
Aw.
I think you'll really like the main character. And she's like, this is not a psycho analysis. I'm not trying to make any like, commentary. I just think you'd really like this show. And then I watched it and I was like, yes, a new comfort character has been unlocked, and now it's my entire personality.
Yay. Okay. I might check out the first episode since it's free online. So thanks.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
totally watch it. It convinced me. I actually like bought an Apple TV subscription because of it. Like,
Oh my god. Wow.
10 out of 10.
I had downloaded all the episodes to like be able to view it offline for my work trip last week. And I remember I like all the episodes that were out at that point were the 8 episodes, and now the first season, which is 10 episodes, is out. So I'm gonna download episodes 9 and 10 and literally just rewatch it on my next work trips tomorrow and next week. I already rewatched the series once because I made my mom watch it and she loves it. This is my life's mission. This is my life's work.
Converting
it.
to Silo.
you say-
So everyone go watch Silo. That's the homework for next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will quiz you on it. I'm just kidding.
And
Crystal from jabberjays.net has a podcast about the series.
that's
too.
right.
Wow.
She's like a huge fan.
Yes,
the
we
book
does.
series has actually been on my TBR for like 10 years because that's when she first read the books, and she was just trying to get everyone and their mother to read series.
Exactly.
So
I get
Oh,
that.
so funny.
has she had a podcast for like a long time then? Or
Yeah.
The podcast I don't know, but definitely a website, a fan site for the series for a long time.
Oh,
She always,
cool.
like-
Yeah, Ronnie, you would know more than me.
She has really good taste in like dystopian fiction. Like, I think because she's a book editor as well, Crystal is.
Oh,
So like she knows good writing, like when she sees it, and she's been like talking about it forever. But like I've just been like, oh, I don't know if I want to read this, blah blah blah. And like when you all started talking about the TV series, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that it was like based on this book.
Wool.
And then when I ended up
Yeah, I
looking,
didn't at first either because it's
When I
called
looked-
something different. It's called Wool, the book.
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
what is it called?
She
Wool?
made a
Like
cake from it.
WOOL.
She made a
Ooh.
cake, like a very beautiful cake for one of the book releases. It's very stunning. But she talked about it forever, and I was like, oh, like I don't know about that. And then when you all started talking about it, I was like, oh, I want to watch this. And then when I looked it up and saw that it was from that series,
You're
I was
like,
like,
so
oh my God.
good.
And she was right. Crystal was right. It's brilliant. It's great.
I definitely plan on reading the book series, but I want to wait until the entire series is out first, so I know it'll probably be a ways away, but I'm just so invested in the show adaptation. And I don't know, like, I also want to avoid spoilers, so I don't want to know all the mysteries. Like, I like discovering it with the show, if that makes sense. And then
No, I get that.
I also know, like, I don't know, I've been very fortunate that I haven't come across any spoilers from the book. So the book fans are also very well behaved, which I appreciate. But what I do know is some of them have been saying that they have made some some changes. So it's like, I also don't, even if I did read the books, you know, like, I don't know, like, what is going to end up being adapted for the series, but
It's like watching the Hunger Games trilogy before reading the books. Like, you don't really know what's
Yeah.
changed versus like what they cut out and all that.
I'm also just, and this might just be like a me thing, because I just don't enjoy reading. Like, reading is like a really tedious endeavor for me. So like, I would rather just watch the series and then read the books. That's like, the Hunger Games is the exception to this. I've done that the other way around for literally every other adaptation. Yeah. I also love that Rebecca Ferguson, who plays the main character, is one of the producers on the show, which is really exciting, I
I
think.
love that.
Yeah.
Sold me
She-
on the whole book thing, so I added that to my wish list, and I might read it before I watch it.
No, Ollie, just watch the first episode, please.
I might switch to the books.
Read.
I
It's-
recommend watching the first episode to like get you to read the books.
Like,
'Cause I
hype.
also I downloaded the book. I honestly downloaded the first book after watching the first episode, and I haven't listened to it yet because I got it on Audible.
Same.
I'm excited to read it. I like to get into world building and all that stuff. I think it's very interesting. But this is not a Wolf/Silo podcast.
Yes, it is. No, I'm just kidding.
Uh,
start-
No, dun dun dun.
We go through cycles. It's like a Hunger Games, Stranger Things podcast. No, it's a Hunger Games like silo podcast. Just depends what AJ wants to talk about.
Oh my god, no. I'll just shut up.
Well, then at that point, I mean, the Wonka trailer drops tomorrow, which I'm sure my Wonka watch podcast
Wonka
girl is
watch.
very excited
Shout out
about.
to Wonka Watch.
I will plug that podcast until the day that I die.
My
Like,
heroes.
they-
I aspire to
Like,
that level.
every single time like that I think they don't have anything else to talk about. Their most recent episode was like, where is it? It's the most insane topic that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's Muppet casting Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
Wait, that's
Their
kind of
most recent podcast, because like this movie was supposed to come out last year, and so now they just like do a weekly episode of just like the most insane thing. So like
Oh my gosh, I want to steal that for the Hunger Games.
yeah, that's a good idea.
I would be so down for it. But like, if we ever think that we don't have anything to talk about, we can just look to Wonka Watch. Because
That's like the backup topic.
yes,
Wait,
they
that could
always
be
have to talk about-
PowerPoint. But wait, no, actually, that's the PowerPoint night, but everyone has their own Muppet cast.
yeah.
Oh, I already have it in my head.
Ronnie, that should definitely belong to you. You should
Well, the
take
Muppets
it.
did do the Muppets did do a Hunger Games trailer parody.
What?
Have y'all seen that?
Oh right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to though. What?
It's so funny. It's very good.
I really need to familiarize myself more with the Muppets, because I feel like I really don't know that much.
Oh, I love the Muppets. The Muppets are my favorite. I
Muppets
grew up-
Christmas Carol is the best
Oh
Christmas
my
Carol.
god,
And that's
that's
just it.
the best. But
I gotta go rinse out my hair dye. I will be back.
yes, Wonka trailer drops tomorrow. Be excited about that. It's gonna be insane, I'm sure.
I
But
guess kind of news. Like I was just thinking,
Mhm.
the Tim Palin announcement this week is kind of valid news.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. More disappointing stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that, like, I feel like I've asked y'all on the podcast before, and you guys said yes, that he was coming back. Like, I thought
He
there was like,
is
Producer.
he is
Producer.
attached to the
Yeah.
film.
what is he gonna do?
Well, he's like the VP of something.
I think
Marketing?
he used to be. I think he used to be. I'm not sure if he is anymore, but I think I don't know. I just think he's a producer or an executive
I mean,
producer.
he's high up at Lionsgate and has deep ties to the Hunger Games. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that he would be involved in some way, even if it's not photography.
Do you guys
Kid
think we'll get
Rocket.
the posters this month?
Yes.
Hopefully.
I think
100%.
so. Before the end, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But I think I hate to be like a downer, but I think that's the only thing that we're gonna be getting, which I know I'm excited about the posters, but I want a trailer. I want another trailer.
Well, if it was coupled with the Hall H presentation and panel and posters, that would be
Yes.
perfect.
And
but-
I recently, not recently, like literally like right before we came on, I rewatched the Ballad trailer and I just thought like, okay, give me something else now. Like I've watched it so many times at this point. Like I think our flight back to Vegas, I watched it like the entire time. So now I'm kind of sick of it and I want more content.
Oh,
What? I watch it just to feel alive.
Yeah,
No,
like,
I love that today on Threads, Jerry's, I don't know what it's called, his thread.
yes.
What did you
Read.
say? It was like I'm rewatching the Ballad trailer.
His
to feel
thread.
something.
Yeah, I did that.
I'm like, amen.
It's so long.
It's
You
so
know, when you watch something for the first time and it feels very long, but then you
Yeah.
keep watching it and it feels shorter, but it still feels very long. You get to that
long.
like part where you think it's gonna end, the
Look,
sound of snow falling, and it just keeps going. It's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was my thought. Like, and I've said it before when we talked about it, like in our first like initial reaction post or whatever, that I was like, oh, it's gonna stop at this point, and then it just kept going. Like we were definitely treated to
Mhm.
such a long trailer, which I'm very thankful for. But I think I've just watched it so many times where I'm just like, okay, like I just give me one more scene. Like I just want. I don't know if that has to do with my addictive personality or like whatever, but I need something. I need something.
Maybe they knew there was gonna be this long period of time, and that's why it was
Just
so
give him a little
long.
extra.
It's so long.
Yeah.
I'm
We feel
blaming-
that. So
I
here you
don't
go.
want to say that I'm blaming the writer's strike because I think the writer's strike needs to happen, but like I feel like they might have had more if the writer's strike did not happen.
Mhm.
And I can't fault them, like the writers on this.
Mhm.
Like I said, it is something that needs to happen. Like these people need to get paid, but
No,
I'm just
literally
scared.
last week when I was like, I sound so privileged, but could the writer's strike like wait a year? So
I was saying, I was like, it would have been like, more convenient for us for this if this had just happened like next year.
exactly.
But obviously, yeah, I understand. But unfortunate timing.
we would have had more content, I think, by now if the writer's strike
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
I'm not like so. I'm okay with the amount of content we have now. It's not so much hunger for more content, but like hunger for marketing. I'm really anxious about the marketing for the movie. And Comic-Con was going to be like a big starting point for that. So now it's just like, what is going on? What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I
it is
definitely agree because I don't want to see like too much. Like we talked about this when the trailer first came out, but like I don't want to see the whole movie before it's released. But I love like here it comes. I love what they're doing with Barbie.
Oh my god.
I'm just I
love
need
Barbie
need
has
Hunger
so
Games
much
to do that.
merch too. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Every
Yeah.
single brand has a
Yeah.
Barbie deal.
I spent like already like $150 on Barbie merch.
Yes. It's
I'm
crazy.
so I have an outfit planned and everything. Like
I love it.
Okay, are you all saying Oppenheimer first or are you saying Barbie first?
I have
Oppenheimer first.
absolutely zero interest in Oppenheimer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just think it looks long and boring. And I
I'd
don't
probably see Oppenheimer like on streaming later. I don't think I need to see it in the theater.
But you have
I
to
kind
see
of
it
feel like
what's the appeal of Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like
Josh
what's
I kind of
Peck.
feel like
Honestly,
Jack Quaid.
I might be
looks
Team
so
Oppenheimer over
brilliant.
Team Barbie, to be honest.
Really? Look at you. You always come in with the hot takes.
Why is that?
Yeah, it always seems to play out that way.
So explain why. I'm curious.
I knew someone was going to ask, but I was like, I don't actually have an answer. It's just the vibes. Just the
Yeah.
vibes.
Are you gonna see Barbie still, or
So I don't know if I'm actually even going to see either of them though, to be honest. I was planning on seeing it if if we had an event for San Diego Comic Con, but now I don't know, I'm not sure.
yeah?
But Margot Robbie's like your country's idol. Like
I'm betraying my nation.
Australia.
Oh, I love
Everyone
her.
is mandated to get tickets to see.
Listen, if like the Capitol was a real thing and it was revolving around Margot Robbie, I would succumb to that immediately.
Yeah.
I love her. And she's looking like the whole press tour that she's doing with all of her outfits.
Hey, she's so hot.
She's so hot. She looks fabulous. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. I got to see her. I went to an early screening of I, Tonya, where they did like a Q&A session after. And
That's so
she
cool.
was so, I'll have to send you guys videos. She was so charming and just like so sweet. And I was like, she has to be in like a big movie at some point. And then when they cast her as Barbie, I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, and she's
Yeah.
killing it. She's absolutely killing it.
She's a goddess.
She is. I'm so excited for Barbie. But Oppenheimer, I'm just like, at that point of American history, I'm just like,
See, I feel like they kind of like, I wasn't interested. I talked about this last week, but like I wasn't interested in it at all. But now, like the way that they're kind of marketing it, I'm like, oh, it's a double.
It's like the
feature.
war. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. That's what I think. I'll either see neither of them or both of them. It's like there's no
Yeah.
in between.
the double feature aspect of it, I think, is very like, it's fun. Like, you go, like, what would you rather see first in the day? Like, would you rather see Oppenheimer or Barbie first? Like, what's a morning movie for
I
you
feel
guys?
like I feel like Oppenheimer because it's like really sad and I'll just start my morning off by being like, oh damn it. And then I'll go and watch Barbie and be like, I'm going to the club tonight. We're gonna have a good time, like party time.
From what I've heard about Barbie, from people that I know that have seen it, it's I don't want to say it's a downer, but like it's gonna be very divisive.
Well, it's crazy because I don't know if y'all have heard, but Mattel, is that how you say it? Like the company that
Yeah.
owns Barbie is coming out with like 45, like has planned 45 different movies for their different products. And the
That's
next one that they're planning is a Barney one. And
it's
it's gonna be like
Kahlua.
A24 vibes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which I'm like at first I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but like Daniel Kaluuya is involved and like he's a great
Yes.
actor.
I trust him.
Yes,
I
same.
trust him. He's a brilliant actor. Like he's so cute too. So like I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
So
No, it's like I think I read that today and I was like, oh my God, like what are they doing? So I mean, I think they're marketing Barbie a certain way, but like you said, I feel like it's gonna be like very Truman Show-esque.
yes, it's I don't want to give away anything about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's gonna be a lot. And I think people, especially towards the more conservative market, I think are gonna really hate it. But it's so good. It's so good.
I'm so excited for both of them. Jerry, which one did you say you're seeing first?
Yeah, I think I want to see Oppenheimer first because yeah, like you said, the topic is like a lot, and you need Barbie to like end it off because like from the clips and trailers, it's like kind of like brain dead comedy, so you kind of need that to pacify all the like depression you have after watching the first movie.
But
Like
I mean,
dinner and dessert.
But do you guys ever think about dying?
Oh my God, stop! Oh
Yes.
my God.
That's a Barbie reference for anybody that's not.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not just
Stop.
me having an existential crisis, which like honestly that is a common thought in my head.
Oh.
But this
Well-
really is a 32 movie podcast and not like a ballad podcast.
Well, to bring it back to Ballad, when do you think we'll see the Ballad trailer in theaters?
It's already playing, no?
Is it not?
Yeah, I think the new one is playing in theater. Like the new one. Like
in front
there's
of-
any other ones,
In
but
front of
I
what?
thought it was
The
playing
one.
before Spider-Man.
yeah, I think it played
I thought it
select.
played before Little Mermaid too,
No,
for
I
some
saw
I haven't
people,
seen it at
but
all.
not for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like very
Oh.
selective on where it plays.
Yeah. I really want to go to my local theater just to see if they have like a poster up yet, because that's when it will become real.
Which
Yeah.
it really makes me miss like working at a movie theater because like I have all the posters from Catching Fire to Mockingjay Part 2, all the movie posters, and then I remember like when the trailers were like loaded in because like projectors nowadays are like you download the trailers and all that stuff. I like got to see all the trailers early.
Oh,
That's so fun.
It was really fun. Oh my god! But
Back in the day, a midnight movie is
yes, R.I.P. And then
it's just not the same.
Colorado shooting happened, and now we can't have fun things anymore. Midnight movies were so much more exciting. But it makes me miss the heyday of movies because I don't think they were gonna have anything like that anymore. Like it seems to be like the ballad trailer is just playing randomly,
yeah.
and it's not like a consistent schedule like how it used to be. Like you used to be able to like bet like, oh, the Hunger Games trailer is gonna play in front of this movie. And now it's like, oh, it played in front of this movie, and then when you go see it, it's like, no, it didn't. It only played in front of this movie, like in this part of the country or this part of the world or whatever.
I mean, Lionsgate has a new movie coming out in a few days, I think, Joyride. So I wonder if it will consistently play in front of that. Probably. It should.
Let's hope
I think.
so. I don't even want to see that movie, but like I will go get a ticket.
I'll buy a ticket just to see the trailer.
I have AMC A-list, so like I can waste that on just a singular Joyride just to
See, I'm
see
like-
the ballad trailer.
What I used to do was when the teaser trailer premiered in front of Lightyear, I would go, like when I would go see another movie, I would plan the movie to be like around the same time that like Lightyear starts. So I would go up to like the teenager working at AMC and I would be like, I swear you can watch me leave the theater, but can I just go in to like see Lightyear just to see the trailers because I'm a huge Hunger Games fan and I heard that they're playing in front and they didn't show it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like they were fine with it. But I was like, after embarrassing myself like that, really?
Listen, Holly, as somebody that used to work at a movie theater, you could have just snuck in there. Like we
Oh,
don't
okay.
care.
Another question for you. Now that I know that you worked at a movie theater, so there is one ballad poster at my theater. It's the stupid hunger one. Like everyone hungers for something.
You can just ask. Just ask. Just
Can I
ask. the-
Ooh.
Yes,
like how
just
do I
ask.
approach? Like what do I say?
And literally anybody, and it like 9 times out of 10, they'll ask the manager and be like, "Hey," because like there's usually a wait list, unfortunately, for posters, unless like the person working there like they get first dibs, but. We would like have people that would come in and be like, "Hey, can I get this poster?" I'd be like, "Okay, I'll put your name down or whatever." Just ask.
Okay,
Nine
I'll do
times
that.
out of
I
10,
mean,
you'll-
it can't be weirder than going into like a Walgreens or whatever and asking for like the nail polish like
Yeah.
holder
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
no, literally.
I would just take those. I was the worst. I would like put the product on the side and I'd
I
be
did
like,
find
this
out-
is mine.
I did find on eBay today when I couldn't sleep earlier this morning. Somebody had put the NECA like little figures. Like you remember those like the blind bag figures?
Yeah.
mhm.
For $30 is the entire box unopened
What?
on eBay.
I'm pretty sure I'm watching that.
I
I was like
think-
considering. I was like, should I get it?
they had a buy it now price, and I'm like really I think like I might get it, but
You
There's a
shouldn't
lot
have
of them
announced it because
for
maybe
sale
people
there.
will go buy it.
I'm so
The
tempted.
way I had that and threw it away.
Oh,
Aw.
Emily.
What?
It wasn't my fault. Okay. I was moving houses. I had kept that thing for, I mean, almost a decade.
Mhm.
And
Don't
I shared a room with
remind
my
me, oh
sister.
God.
my sister was tired of seeing it. So we moved houses and she was like, you don't need that when we're
But, like it's
packing."
in my room. Okay.
I just want you all to be
So-
ready since I'm going back to Tennessee a little bit later this month. I'm bringing back all of my Hunger Games stuff. I'm
Yay.
packing an extra bag. I have so much stuff. I'm bringing back PETA. my cardboard cutout of
Get
PETA.
it.
Yeah, we can
I-
we can bring PETA and Gail and have
We
them
have to have a
reunite.
reunion.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with my dad earlier, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm bringing like a big suitcase, so I want to take a bunch of my Hunger Games stuff." And the first question he asked me, he was like, "Are you taking PETA?"
Is he just like standing in your old room right now?
No, we have like a little like storage closet in our basement,
Okay.
and he's just kind of standing there, just creepily in the dark.
Ah!
Which is like very ominous, but like it's fine. But yes, I'm taking PETA. Like he's easily foldable. He can pack in my suitcase. I will gladly take him. And I have like a bunch of like NECA stuff from the first movie. I have like a bunch of magazines.
Yeah. Do a haul.
I'm very, I have a whole haul. It's insane. I have so much stuff. I have cups.
Yes.
There was in Canada, because I went to Canada back in like I think Mockingjay Part 1, they had like these like district cups
Yes,
Like-
the heat
at
ones.
movie theaters, and I have all of them.
Oh my god.
I fished them out of garbage cans.
Yes, King, do what you gotta do, you know?
Listen, I like it's I have such dedication to this stuff. It's ridiculous. It's insane that we're like an hour into this and we haven't really talked about ballad theories.
No. Kaylee, how is Gail doing over in Australia?
He's good. He's up on my bookshelf right now. He's not actually like standing, but he will be once I properly clean my room. Because I have all my Vegas merch is all just like in a pile right now because I still need to film a reel. I was gonna do like a little haul from April.
Oh,
yeah.
fun.
But then so now it's July and I still have not filmed that. So I was
I'm like, where's the haul?
That's okay. It took me like
Yeah,
a month
yeah.
to get our vlog up, so month and a half.
yeah.
Listen,
But yeah, it's
the
gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna do next time. Like, so I got so much stuff shipped to Jeremy's house because the shipping prices are obviously much better for the US, inside the US. So I just have a bunch of stuff at his house now. So I'm going to have so much to take home because it's like I've been collecting. It's just been accumulating over months. So I have no
Aw.
idea what I'm gonna do.
Is
But
the
yeah.
Malone Bakery mug intact still?
Yes, it is. That one's on my shelf.
Oh my
Sitting
god,
there.
wait, you have to send me a picture. I want to see him.
I
wanna make-
will. I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have space for anything anymore, so I'm thinking of getting more like kind of display shelves or something. Because yeah, I have so much stuff now.
You deserve it, Kaylee, out of anybody, I feel like.
So aw.
Thank you.
I'm like, I want to see all the hauls.
Yeah, I'm excited to make it, but it's just procrastinating a lot.
That's okay.
I was gonna do it today. I convinced myself. I was like, today's the day. So we'll see if
Hey,
we'll see
well,
if it
You started
happens.
your day off with tribute talk, like with Hunger Games. So you gotta like continue the day.
It's a
That's
Hunger
your
Games
fault,
kind of
Brad.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put on your favorite Hunger Games movie in the background. Start organizing your stuff.
The only
Yeah.
thing is it's just like really cloudy, so the lighting in my room is so crap right now. But
Mm.
I'll probably attempt that today. Yes.
Yay. So stay tuned for Kaylee's haul.
From April.
But what else? Anything else? I mean, I don't know if we'll make it to ballad theory.
I feel like we could just talk about the Hunger Games, like random stuff forever.
I can keep
Once
going.
we get going.
I'm like, I really want to dedicate like a whole live to just talking about like Lucy Gray's life or death at the end. Like, is she alive?
Dead.
Yeah, just like a quick poll. Like, do you think she's alive or not?
She's
Yeah.
dead.
She's dead.
Dead.
All right, move on. So anyway,
That was the episode, guys. Thanks for joining.
thanks for joining us. Join us next week on Trivia Talk next Thursday.
I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I almost like, you know how you get into moods on like a stormy day where you're like, oh, I'm kind of lazy. Like, I don't really feel like doing anything. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm feeling with this lack of Hunger Games content that we're not getting, you know?
I
I'm
feel like
just
the
kinda like-
message of this episode is like Lionsgate, please.
Please,
Please.
we're on our hands and knees.
Where are you?
please.
Where are
We need
you?
I think
Don't
it's just
post
it's
us
hard
anymore.
because there was the Hunger Games Renaissance on, TikTok, and they put the movies out on Netflix, and that was really exciting. And then the trailer came out, and
I mean, there's
people
still
who didn't know about it were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm interested in this. This is actually cool." And then we can't let that momentum like die. You got to keep it up.
They're releasing clips on YouTube still. I think they released like 2 in the past like 2 days. But like I can just watch the movie. Like
I'm clinging onto that scheduled post on their Instagram.
same.
Has-
We got the book club going on.
yeah. We're in
Yeah.
Catching
Thank goodness
Fire.
for Scholastic.
Mhm.
Thank
That's
goodness
a
for that.
lie. I hope everyone is enjoying Catching Fire right now. I guess something we can talk about really quick, like to kind of wrap things up. What is our favorite part of the Catching Fire book?
Like a scene or a chapter.
Like a scene. Let's do a scene.
I know that it's like unpopular and it's like kind of like scene filler, but I really love the Bonnie and Twill section.
Aww.
Like I don't think I'm glad that they're not in the movie. I think that would have kind of taken up a lot of time, but like as like a novel format, like I really enjoy that part. And it like drops hints to District 13 and Bonnie and Twill they're just like so like sad. Like I don't know. And I like their story, like you kind of get a bigger background on the uprisings of District 8 and it's super interesting to me. I don't know. I really like
Yeah, I
it.
always love to hear about other districts. Anytime somewhere else is talked about, I'm all ears.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
also,
what
it's an
Katniss
important
said.
turning point for Katniss as well.
Yeah. And it's like what Katniss said in the first book, like she doesn't get like any information about other districts really. Like when she's talking to Rue in the arena, she's like, oh
Yeah,
wait.
that's one of my favorite parts as well.
I love world building stuff. So like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I
would
think my
say- Oh wait, you go.
go ahead.
Mine is quick. Mine is just the rooftop scene. I love the rooftop scene. That's all I need.
One of my favorite parts of Catching Fire, I think, is the peppermint scene. It's like it's kind of like
Yes.
it's for show with the peacekeepers and stuff, but it's kind of cute, with Haymitch
Aw.
and Prim and Peter and Katniss and that whole thing.
Oh, we're just getting let's just use the peppermints for Prim. It's fine. I
Yeah.
didn't jump it's right after Bonnie and Twill. Like I
Mhm.
didn't hurt myself jumping over the fence. It's fine. We're fine.
Everything's okay.
Everything's okay. I love that scene too. That's a very good scene. It's Bonnie and Twill adjacent, which I think is why I like it.
Also, I love
also, like-
Gale's excitement when Katniss asks him to run away with her,
No.
and he like he
Oh,
like picks
yeah,
her up and he spins
originally
her
he's,
around.
like, So ready.
Oh,
Oh.
that's so sad.
I don't care if Galen's excited. It's fine. I hate him.
Jerry, what's your favorite Catching Fire scene?
I think it's just anything to do with the tour because of the building aspect.
Mm,
Yes.
definitely.
The world building in that book is so good. It's so
That's why-
good.
I think that's why I always looked back and was like, Catching Fire is the best book out of the trilogy. And I've changed my mind, but
Mhm.
I think that's why like so many people say that is because the world building in that book is just amazing. Like you just are hungry to know more about Panem and like just everything about it because so much of it is a mystery.
I think I definitely prefer the District 12 section of the book compared to the game section.
Definitely.
Yeah, just seeing like Katniss
Same,
going about
yeah.
not her, it's not, it's not exactly her normal life,
Section.
but
Mm.
it's
Emily, what's your favorite?
My favorite Catching Fire scene is Finnick Odair. Final answer.
Real.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P.
And then Taylor, I don't know if you're muted, so I don't know if I know AJ's doing their hair. But that might be it. Taylor, yeah. Yeah, Taylor, what's your favorite Catching Fire scene?
I don't know. There's so many.
It's got to be
I
the
feel like-
rooftop scene too, right? Right?
Well, there's like a scene
Anybody?
that like was like perfectly how I visioned it in the book when Katniss is stuck behind that invisible wall with all the Jabberjays.
Oh,
I love that part of
like-
the movie.
And not that scene, but like where Peeta is comforting her on the
Yeah.
other side.
yes.
Like that is exactly how I pictured it when I read it. And when I saw it for the first time in the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I saw happening.
He is
So,
very PETA in that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one has a special place in my heart. Even though it's like a
It's
terrible
a good one.
Yes, Taylor, we're
It's
on
like
the
a
same
terrible
page.
moment for Katniss, but it's just like I just love where Peeta's like comforting her on the other side.
Which that like goes to show like a lot of the scenes in the like entire trilogy. In my head, I was like, "Oh, that's awful," but then like seeing it visually, I'm just like, "Oh my god!" Like
Yeah.
the Jabberjay scene was so much more intense than I thought it was going to be in my head. Like horrific. And I understand how Peeta was reacting like that with Katniss because it's just like, oh my god, like what else can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
he's such a good
Hearing
guy.
Prim screams.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awful. It's
Right.
awful.
Yeah, I could. That makes me want to cry every time.
Same.
Gotta love Francis.
And then I'm going to read some comments. Marilyn said, I always have a soft spot for the period of time in Catching Fire when Katniss hurts her foot during the blizzard and her and
Yes,
bond more. Like, yes, more Peeta Katniss scenes.
the sketchbook.
Yes. And then Lauren said, I agree. I personally enjoy the world building we get from Catching Fire and Ballad the most out of the four. So that's probably one of the reasons why I tend to gravitate to those two the most.
Agreed.
And then Lauren said, I can't even imagine seeing the Jabberjays again in Ballad. Same. It's going to be traumatizing.
Oh, I'm I don't want to say I'm excited, but like
I'm
But, like,
so
I'm
excited.
Excited. We're like sick.
Can't
We're
wait.
excited.
I want to see Snow get tortured.
That
It's fine.
scene-
I'm ready to be
Oh my
in
God.
pain.
I can't wait to see Sejanus die. Woohoo.
Yes.
No, my baby. The part is going to ruin me. Absolutely. I'm so upset about that. Ugh.
I just can't wait to be in the theater when all of these things are happening, surrounded by fellow Hunger Games fans.
I
It's
know.
gonna
I
be
just
the
want to
best.
experience it with everyone. I want to like hear people's reactions and everything.
I mean, we're all going to be speechless the entire time, but I feel like if we all end up going together, Holly and Emily, I'm going to be grabbing onto you the entire time.
Oh, I'm sitting in the middle again. Like that was like the like moment to watch the trailer.
We are recreating the trailer watch experience.
Listen, that was a transient moment of my life. Like
Yes.
I ascended at that point.
I just love and miss you guys so much. Like I think that's why I'm so
Mhm.
devastated
I
that
know. I was hyping it up so much in my mind.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
like I just want us to all be together and to just like experience Hunger Games things. That's all I want.
It was such perfect timing too because it was Jeremy's 10th anniversary and Nicole's 10th anniversary.
Mhm.
Like just everything would have lined up so perfectly.
I know. Oh,
Listen.
we'll make our own Comic-Con.
We have to. We will all meet together soon, I'm sure.
Let's hope for New
Yeah.
York. That could be possible.
Like I said,
enjoy.
AJ and I will gladly host people if needed.
Yes. And AJ is back. How did your hair turn out? Is it good?
It's like fine. It's like the normal. I haven't even.
Perfect.
It's like in a towel right now. It's just the normal thing. I just
Okay.
take.
Before we close, we were talking about I don't know if you were listening, the Scholastic read along. We all shared our favorite scenes from Catching Fire, the book. What is your favorite Catching Fire book scene? Put you on the spot.
Okay, keeping in mind that this is my answer because I'm on the spot and probably not the most thought out answer. Say, actually, because it's not in the movie, it makes it even more special when Katniss and Peeta are watching Haymitch's games.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good
Good
scene,
one.
yeah.
Because there was just so much information in all of that, and as a big fan of world building and all of that, I feel like we got a lot. I feel like that's also where, you know, the significance for the Mockingjay pin really comes through. I feel like it's just emphasized, you know, even more,
Yeah.
the fact that it's been in an arena and then back out and then in an arena and then back out and then in another and then back out. It's just like, it's just really cool. And yeah, I think also, you know, it gives, because it was sort of accidental, but that's also where Haymitch was like a really good mentor without meaning to, because like when he's an adult, he's just kind of drunk the whole time and like not, I mean, he is different like in the 74th games, you know, I guess, but like he's a good mentor. But I feel like Katniss really learned something from watching his games, even if like it wasn't like Haymitch wasn't sitting here like watch this and learn from it, you know? Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like
And
he was like a, yeah, he was a mentor to them even then without knowing it yet, you know?
Yeah. That's a good answer.
Thanks.
Especially look at you on the fly. Wow, icon.
so basically we all love world building.
Exactly. So we're gonna get a lot of that with Ballad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of it for tonight, unless anyone has anything else. We can just keep praying and manifesting for some Ballad content in the next week, and then we'll be back next week, and I'll start the episode by saying, guess what? No more news this week.
No.
It's just a pattern I'm living, you know, like every single week it's a cycle.
It's so
Prepare for
familiar
that.
to back in the day. It's so funny.
But
Yeah.
I kind of also like my sentimental side is kind of like before we had anything Ballad, I'm kind of just like soaking up this moment before we have stuff, because I'm like, I'm thinking about it, guys. I'm already getting kind of sad. Like I'm the type of person that gets sad
No, no.
the
We
weekend
can't.
thing on a Saturday
cannot.
morning, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back to work. And that's why
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel already, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want all this Ballad stuff to be over.
It's so close.
I
It is.
know.
Oh my
Like I said
God.
before we started the live, like even if this ends up being just like a group chat of just like talking about Hunger Games, I'm
Mhm.
here for it. I have a good time.
I can keep this going for another 20 years, guys. Okay. I
Same.
got all of everything locked and loaded. I got all of the parallel TV shows to fill the void.
Yes.
And once this movie comes out, we're gonna talk about it for years.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah,
There's gonna be so much to talk about.
I know there's already so much to talk about with the 3 books, like the original 3 books and the 4 movies. And now we had another book added, and then we're getting another movie added to the arsenal. So I feel pretty good about.
Which are going to be the longest book, and will be the longest movie. So
Yeah.
lots of
I'm
content.
so excited.
Yeah. So, oh, and then this is random. I just thought about it before we close off. Maya Wynn is coming and performing in Denver, and I really want to try and see her.
Oh my god!
Oh, cool.
So I really want to try and see her, but I just thought I would say that. Shout out to Maya.
When is that?
It's sometime mid-July, which I should look because it's already.
I was gonna say, girl, that's next week.
A lot.
I was gonna like a few weeks ago, but I was on the train and I was like, I can't do this right now. But shout out to Maya. So I'm gonna look up those tickets. And if I go, I will shout her out and tell everyone and brag about it.
Yeah.
Please do.
But all right. Well, thank you, Kaylee, so much for joining us tonight. It's
Thank you.
always
So
nice
fun.
to-
So
Go-
good I was gonna say so good to see you. So good to talk to you.
Yes.
No.
Your
It was the
handle
last
at
time I-
collecting Panem, correct? I just want
Yeah.
to make sure I got it right.
Yeah.
Collecting Panem. So follow Kaylee if you're not. I don't know why you wouldn't be. I hope you come back more because we need a Gale advocate here.
I mean, yeah,
We
I'm
do.
happy to join anytime.
Yay. Awesome. Anything else, anyone?
I
It's
don't
always
think
so
so.
good to talk to you. I miss you all. And thanks for everyone for listening. And we'll be back next week.
Good night.